timeless enigma emerges, Count of Saint Germain. He appeared like a phantom from nowhere. In the glittering courts of Europe during the 1700s, nobles whispered his name with unease, the Count of Saint Germain. A man of impeccable elegance, fluent in every tongue, equally skilled in art, music, diplomacy, and alchemy. Yet the most chilling thing was not his talent, but his age. For decades he wandered through palaces, appearing in France, England, and Germany, never changing, never aging. Witnesses swore that 30 years would pass, and he looked exactly the same, his skin flawless, his hair untouched by time. Rumors spread he could live forever. He had discovered the philosopher's stone, or worse, he was no man at all. What frightened people most were his stories. He would recount moments from history with disturbing precision, as if he had been there himself. He spoke of ancient kings, long-dead musicians, and centuries-old battles, all with an intimacy that no book could provide. When asked how he knew, he would smile faintly and say, "Because I was there." The Count's mysterious knowledge made him both a guest of honor and a man of suspicion. Some believed he was a sorcerer who had bargained his soul. Others whispered he was a vampire, cursed to walk among mortals. But his end was stranger still. Records claim he died in 1784, yet he was seen again, alive, decades later. Some swore he attended a Masonic lodge in the 1800s. Others claimed they met him in the 1900s, still unchanged, still eternal. To this day, his final fate remains unknown. Did he die and leave behind a corpse? Or is he still wandering, blending into our world, watching silently as centuries pass by? Found without memory, Kasper Hauser. On a cool spring evening in 1828, a boy stumbled into the streets of Nuremberg, Germany. He was about 16, but his movements were strange, clumsy, almost unnatural. His clothes were ragged, his eyes wide and lost, and in his hand, he carried a crude letter. The townsfolk gathered, whispering. Who was this stranger? He could barely speak, repeating only a few broken words. I want to be a cavalryman, like my father was. He seemed utterly unaware of the world, as though he had been hidden away from birth. The letter he carried only deepened the mystery. It claimed the boy's name was Kasper Hauser, that he had been raised in complete isolation, locked inside a dark cell with only a toy horse to keep him company. His diet had been bread and water, no sunlight, no human contact. For nearly all his life, he had lived in absolute silence. And now, suddenly, he had been released. But by whom and why? Whispers began to circulate. Some said he was the secret heir of European royalty, hidden away to prevent him from claiming a throne. Others believed he was a cruel experiment, a human raised without love to see if he could survive. But no one could prove anything. Kasper himself could not explain. His memories were fragments, broken dreams that made no sense. Then came the attempts on his life. More than once, he was attacked by unknown assailants who wanted him silenced forever. Finally, in 1833, Kasper was stabbed in a park by a mysterious figure. He staggered home, bleeding, and died 3 days later. In his pocket, police found a cryptic note written in backward letters, taunting investigators and leaving the riddle unsolved. Who was Kasper Hauser? A lost prince? A cruel experiment? Or just a pawn in someone's dark game? His story remains one of history's most haunting enigmas. Fabricated island lie. George Psalmanazar. He called himself George Psalmanazar, the mysterious man from Formosa. In the early 1700s, he appeared in London, pale-haired and light-skinned, claiming to be from a strange, distant land, an island we now know as Taiwan. To prove it, he produced maps, invented an entire alphabet, and even wrote a book describing bizarre customs of his supposed homeland. He told chilling tales of rituals, human sacrifices, and an alien society unlike anything in Europe. Scholars, fascinated, believed every word, but Psalmanazar was a fraud. He was not from Formosa at all, but likely from southern France or Germany. He had fabricated everything: the maps, the language, the culture. Yet he lied so convincingly that people questioned reality itself. Some even feared that if his monstrous depictions of Formosa were true, humanity itself was not what they thought. His lies blurred the line between truth and nightmare, creating a world that felt both real and impossibly alien. As years passed, Psalmanazar eventually confessed to his deception, admitting that he had invented it all. But by then, the damage was done. His book spread fear and fascination across Europe, and his story became immortal. Was he just a skilled con man, or did something darker guide his hand? To this day, the man who created an entire false culture remains one of history's strangest imposters, a living reminder that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are not supernatural, but human. Alchemist's vanished miracle, Fulcanelli. In the dim corners of Paris in the early 20th century, a shadow moved silently through the labyrinthine streets. He called himself Fulcanelli, the last great alchemist. Unlike the tricksters and charlatans who filled the world with empty promises, Fulcanelli's words carried weight. He claimed he had unlocked the forbidden secret of transmutation, the power to turn lead into gold, and more disturbingly, to cheat death itself. Those who knew him described a man of great intellect but cloaked in secrecy. He never revealed his true face, his true age, or even his true identity. His students whispered that he could manipulate matter itself, that he could command fire and light. They swore that in his presence, metal objects grew warm, as if responding to his touch. He was said to possess manuscripts filled with symbols too dangerous to read, texts that promised immortality but warned of unspeakable consequences. And then he vanished, without warning, without farewell. One day, Fulcanelli was simply gone, leaving only rumors behind. Some said he retreated to an underground chamber, sealing himself away until the world was ready for his return. Others claimed he underwent the great work, the alchemical process of transformation, and emerged no longer human. But the most unsettling part came years later. His pupil, Eugène Cancelier, swore that Fulcanelli reappeared, unchanged, untouched by time, looking decades younger than when he was last seen. How was it possible? Had he truly discovered eternal life, or had he traded his soul for a nightmare beyond comprehension? Even now, the name Fulcanelli inspires dread. His books are whispered about in esoteric circles, his knowledge considered too dangerous to explore. For if Fulcanelli really succeeded, then somewhere out there, a man who should have died a century ago is still alive, watching, waiting, and perhaps perfecting a miracle mankind was never meant to touch. Alien among pilgrims, Dolores Barrios. In 1954, hundreds of UFO enthusiasts gathered in the mountains of Palomar, California. The air was charged with anticipation. Lectures, theories, and promises of contact filled the camp. But none of them expected what walked into their midst: a woman, pale, slender, with sharp features and eyes that seemed otherworldly. Her name, she claimed, was Dolores Barrios. She looked human, yet not entirely. Her face was hauntingly symmetrical, her movements unnervingly precise, her presence magnetic. Whispers spread instantly. She looked exactly like the beings described in the lectures, Venusians, said to be disguised aliens living among us. When questioned, she laughed coldly, denying everything. But the crowd could not shake the feeling that something was wrong, very wrong. Photographs were taken, but soon after, Dolores vanished into the night with two men as strange as herself. Witnesses claimed that shortly after, a glowing object rose silently into the sky, disappearing into the stars. Many swore they had seen her step inside. Skeptics dismissed it as hysteria, but those who were there never forgot her gaze. It wasn't human curiosity, It was study, as though she were observing them, taking notes for something greater. To this day, no record of Dolores Barrios exists, no birth certificate, no death record, no trace at all. Just a name, a face too perfect, and the lingering question, was she flesh and blood, or was she something else, wearing human skin as a disguise? The terror lies not in what she was, but in what her presence implied. If Dolores Barrios truly was not of this world, then she was not alone, and if she walked among us once, perhaps she still does. Beachside unknown remains, the Somerton Man. December 1948, the beach at Somerton Park, Australia. Early morning walkers found a man lying against the seawall, his head resting gently as though asleep. But he was not asleep. He was dead. His identity was a void. No wallet, no labels on his clothing, no family, no friends. No one came to claim him. He was a ghost in human form. Police discovered one clue, hidden in his pocket, a tiny slip of paper with 2 words, Tamam Shud, Persian. It is finished. The phrase came from a rare book of poetry, but the book itself appeared later in a stranger's car with a torn page that matched perfectly. Inside it, scribbled codes and strange markings, unbroken to this day. Autopsy revealed nothing clear. No poison could be identified, no injury. The man had simply died. Theories swirled: a Cold War spy, an abandoned lover, a victim of some untraceable poison. For decades, the case baffled experts. Even DNA research revealed little. His name remains unknown. His story remains unfinished. But the horror lies not in the death, but in the silence. Someone, somewhere, wanted him gone so completely that they erased not just his life, but his very existence. His face is the face of anonymity itself, haunting us with the fear that anyone, any one of us, could vanish tomorrow and leave behind nothing but questions. The Somerton Man is not just a mystery. He is a reminder that the scariest horror is not monsters, not ghosts, not demons. It is the thought of leaving this world without a trace, your story untold, your name erased, and that horror is real. Children from the Earth, the Green Children of Woolpit. The story begins in the quiet English village of Woolpit during the 12th century. Farmers were tending their fields when they discovered something so strange, so impossible, that it has never been forgotten. 2 children, young, fragile, frightened, emerged from the earth itself, crawling out of a wolf pit. Their skin was green, their language was unknown. Their clothing was made of a material no villager had ever seen. The villagers tried to feed them, but the children refused all food, except raw beans, which they devoured hungrily. Eventually, they adapted, learning to eat normal bread and vegetables. Over time, the boy grew weak and died. The girl survived, her green color fading slowly until her skin became pale. She learned to speak English and told a story that chilled the blood. She claimed that she and her brother came from a world underground, a twilight world where the sun never shone, only a dim half-light. The people there were all green, like them. One day, while tending their father's flock, the children followed the sound of bells into a cavern, and suddenly emerged into the bright, blinding world of Woolpit. Was it a folk tale, a strange disease, or proof of something much darker, that hidden beneath our feet lies another world, populated by beings that are not quite human? To this day, no explanation has satisfied the mystery. The Green Children remain a haunting reminder that sometimes the earth itself can open and deliver to us creatures we were never meant to meet. The Masked Prisoner, Man in the Iron Mask. In the heart of France, hidden deep within stone dungeons, there lived a prisoner unlike any other. He was never named, his crime was never told, his face was never seen. For decades, he was kept in total isolation, his head always locked in a mask, sometimes described as velvet, sometimes as iron. The only certainty was this: no one was allowed to look upon him. Guarded more heavily than murderers or traitors, he was transferred from prison to prison under utmost secrecy. His jailers were ordered to kill him should he ever reveal his identity. To the world, he was a ghost, a man alive, yet erased. Even kings whispered about him. Was he a disgraced noble, the twin brother of the King of France, or someone whose very existence threatened the monarchy itself? He died in captivity, still faceless, his mask never removed in public. His burial was rushed, his name struck from the records. Yet the legend grew. Writers like Voltaire spread the story until it became immortal. The mystery was not only in who he was, but why his face was considered too dangerous for the world to see. And so his mask lingers in our nightmares. For what is more terrifying than the thought of being erased, your identity stolen, your humanity stripped away, reduced to nothing but a shadow in chains? The man in the iron mask remains the ultimate symbol of faceless horror, alive but already forgotten. The faceless legacy: 8 figures, 8 enigmas, a timeless aristocrat who never aged, a lost boy who appeared from nowhere, a liar who invented a world, an alchemist who may have conquered death, a woman too perfect to be human, a man found dead with no name, 2 green-skinned children who slipped through the cracks of reality, and a prisoner whose very face was forbidden to be seen. They are not connected by time or place, yet together they form a chilling pattern, each of them stripped of something vital: identity, memory, humanity, or truth. They stand as shadows on the edges of history, proof that the most terrifying mysteries are not written in ghost stories, but carved into reality itself. What if they were never meant to be explained? What if they are fragments of something larger, a truth too dangerous for us to face? Perhaps they are warnings. Perhaps they are proof that in every century, in every land, the faceless walk among us, watching, waiting, and maybe, just maybe, one of them is still out there.